Hey guys, this is Luminous coming at you with DCDH number 7. DCDH is where I try to help you guys to become a better Dota gamer by looking at the very fine and specific details of the game. And today I will be focusing on the early levels of playing an Earthshaker. As you know, Earthshaker is a very strong and potent Trilane hero, and the way that he's being played right now is more of a defensive kind of a roamer that helps out most of the lanes or help gank in the lane that he is in. So, just aside from that small introduction, Earthshaker is a very difficult hero to play in Trilane. I think he's a lot harder than most other Trilane heroes due to the fact that he's melee, he doesn't have a high mana pool, and if you mess up your spell, it could actually make you lose kills. Unlike a Venge, unlike a Witch Doctor, when you throw a stun, you know it hit. But for Earthshaker, if you mess up your stun, you could actually help your enemy get away. So, you know, he's a very difficult hero just based on the Fisher skill alone. And also, he's also very difficult to play on the roaming aspect of it. So I got 3 replays here for you, and we'll be going over them one by one. And we're going to examine the various different playing style of each Earthshaker player here. And I'm going to load up the MUFC one first. And I'm not going to be, saying that this Earthshaker is the correct way to play it, and that Earthshaker is the wrong way to play it. For the same reason I really dislike guides, I really don't like it when someone tells me this is the only way to play in certain hero. I believe that a lot of heroes have many different playing style to it. So I just want to show you, 3 different ways. I'll let you guys decide which is the play style that you want to try to learn and then try to master. But these are all from WDC, so very top-notch players are going to be handling the Earthshaker. I will be pointing out mistakes. Yes, I know that these players are a lot better than I am, but a mistake isn't a mistake, and I will point it out as I see it. Hopefully, we won't be making the same mistakes after we see it. And I believe the Earthshaker is on the Sentinel side. Don't worry, I won't be, going through this in the next 2 replays, because I'm just using this as an introduction time to kind of get you guys in the mood for this thing. So now, one thing I want to talk about Earthshaker is the starting item. Of course, Earthshaker is a hero that is quite item independent, so both teams force him to buy that chicken or the wards. And some teams differ on opinions on whether the Earthshaker should buy the chicken, should buy the wards, and if he buy the ward, whether he should ward it himself or hand it to someone else. My personal opinion on this is that I think Earthshaker should buy the wards and should ward it. Now let's suppose that if you have another support hero, in this case Witch Doctor, who generally stays in the lane most of the time, the way that for most laners, they really need all 6 of their inventory slots. So with an Earthshaker holding the wards, you're actually freeing up a single inventory slot from your other support players, such as a Witch Doctor. So instead of having 3 tangos, 3 GG branch and tango salve and clarities as a 6 slot, you free up that 6 slot. They don't have to hold the wards. I hope what I'm saying is actually making sense. So the Earthshaker player in this game is going to be Winter, and he is going to be warding. This is a very common item set, which is masked clarities, a single set of tangos, and 2 GG branches. Now this replay in itself will show you how to be very successful with a very kind of a good Fisher blocking Earthshaker. Of course, Earthshaker is a lot more than just Fisher blocking, but when you get it off, you get very spectacular ganks. And maybe 10 minutes or 2 minutes later, you'll see why we shouldn't really use this as a norm to learn from. Because Winter is a freaking balls deep player, and he does very exciting moves, but it's very hard for beginners such as myself, and maybe for some of you guys, it's going to be a little bit difficult to mimic. See, Venge gets out of position here and gets a great Fisher block here. Notice out that as soon as the Venge was spotted, he didn't just chuck off a Fisher immediately. A lot of players do that, and I believe this is in the decision made by the Aeon team, is that Earthshaker is going to be the follow-up stunner. The Witch Doctor is going to lead, and Earthshaker is going to position himself in a way that it will get a perfect block, and we are going to see way more of that in the next 6 minutes or so. For all of these replays, I will watch to the 6-minute mark and talk about how each one is being played specifically here. Now, I don't advise you to try this at home because this is freaking just baller. He just tangoing across and is gonna get a perfect block on that sniper. Sniper is gonna take a lot of damage, if not go down. Sniper is gonna go down to that last hit. So really well done by Earthshaker. I mean, but this is like really baller status, right? So don't really worry too much about it. Don't try to mimic it. I mean, if you want to do it, definitely go ahead. But this is not. I'm not showing you this DCDH and be like, well, this is the only way to play him, because that's definitely not the only way to play it. So Earthshaker now is going to be a very defensive nature, and you could notice that he actually is staying quite far away from the creep wave, and a lot of Earthshaker players do this. They stay relatively far away from the creep wave because he is fairly an item independent hero, or level independent hero. He doesn't really need the EXP as bad as the Pugna or the Witch Doctor, because Fisher is going to be helpful despite being low level. You still get the block. Although you lose some damage, you still get the most important component, which is that block. So he is a hero that generally stays away from the lane, and by staying away from the lane here, good time management by Winter here. Before the 2-minute rune spawn, is already camping by the rune. Yes, shamefully that the rune was not there, but he's paying for his teammate to get the bottom rune. And this is very important. This is really what distinguishes some Earthshaker from a lot of other Earthshaker players, that the rune control aspect and the fact that you're staying out of EXP range. So I really enjoy his play there, checking the rune on a very timely fashion. Also, one thing about Earthshaker staying out of the lane is that when you stay out of it in positions such as this, you get a very good horizontal Fisher for blocking purposes. If you're in the middle of the lane and there's a hero here, yes, you will get a Fisher off, but the blocking component is just forever lost. So, and I think the biggest component to Earthshaker, as many of you guys know, is that Fisher blocking component. So it's very, very important for Earthshaker to stay on the side lanes, or not side lanes, on the side of the forest. As we see, that was, I kind of missed that, but I knew exactly what happened there, because I did watch this replay once or twice. What happened there was that Earthshaker was the follow-up stunner in this case. Just a cast bounce, a single Fisher for the block and the stun, and the Maledict was landed very easily. And that was another kill on the sniper. So that was a very good job done by the Earthshaker. Also, we're going to see even more follow-up stuns here in this case, and this range is going to get blocked to death. Of course, that was not a perfect stun, because it did leave another gap here. But any Fisher block that you get to make the enemy hero to run a longer path is good enough. Of course, perfect blocks are always welcomed and always liked. But you can't ask for everything here. Now Earthshaker's sitting at 600 gold here. He is gonna buy a Boots of Speed. I personally don't enjoy this purchase as much as I would on any other kind of Earthshaker play. As you know, that Earthshaker is mostly just gonna stay on the top lane. If let's say he was roaming across the map, then I would enjoy the Boots of Speed purchase a little bit more. The fact that he's just staying at the top lane mostly, that Boots of Speed is not going to help too much here. That he did spot a double damage rune, and notice how he's actually standing over the rune. He's not standing by the rune, but he's standing over the rune, and that's a kind of a very good move. How you actually do it is, let's say your Earthshaker is here, the rune's here, you would actually click on this spot, and as your Earthshaker hero is over the rune, press S, and you sit your ass neatly on that rune. Now what that does is that even if an enemy hero is there and he's trying to click on the rune, there's a possibility that he's clicking on your hero instead by accident, kind of a misclick. So it's a little bit difficult for the enemy hero to actually grab the rune. So that's a kind of a very tiny thing that's there. So instead of this Boots of Speed I was talking about earlier, I think a smarter purchase would be some teleportation scroll and maybe a magic wand. Earthshaker is one of the best counter ganking heroes hero in the game, and if you're grabbing a teleportation scroll, you could, let's say if the Necrolite gets jumped on, or if the Rasta gets jumped on, or if you want to do a surprise teleportation gank, that is always a possibility. Of course, early Boots of Speed is very, very strong item. As we see, initiation and that was a little bit of unfortunate block there. But even if it blocked the sniper on this side, I don't think he would have died regardless. So anyways, going back to that teleportation scroll, I think that is a very smart purchase as well, and I think it's a lot better than boots in my opinion. But again, you know, it's all opinion, and there's many ways to play this, you know, one hero. So don't let it influence any other way. I urge you guys to try the many ways to play an Earthshaker, and this is probably the most common way to play an Earthshaker. Just kind of Fisher here once or twice, and just go Rune Whore, and then go back in the lane and Fisher, and go back to Rune Whore, and go back in lane Fisher. And that is the most easiest way to play it, but I'm not too sure whether that's the most effective way to play it. Again, I urge you guys to try different the different playing methods. Don't ever let yourself to be stuck in one, if you get what I'm saying. So there is going to be one final gank that I'm going to watch, and then we're going to go to the next replay. Earthshaker places a ward here. Actually, I'm not sure if you guys caught it. Venge actually broke the round and placed a ward here, which spotted a lot of Earthshaker's mobility. And that's why he hasn't been getting the ganks off in the past 2 minutes or so. But look, he's going to run across, get the creep wave, and he is going to be very patient. Oh, no, he actually led. But, you know, a lot of Earthshaker players are a little bit hesitant to throw that Fisher first, because if you miss, the gank is done. It's dead. And a lot of players do wait for that initiation coming from, let's say, a Venge, a Line, or a, you know, Cask or whatnot. But sometimes you just got to go for it, and he did. The Venge was the Cask was tossed at the exact same time, but regardless, it was a good gank nonetheless. So that is Winter's MUFC Winter's Earthshaker, and I will be going to the next Earthshaker replay. Alright, this next replay is between MYM and Nirvana Malaysia, and the player on MYM that is playing the Earthshaker is going to be Mania. Of course, again, he is going to be warding, and he has a very similar item sets. Instead of the 4th Clarity Potion, had to pick up an extra GG branch, and this is again the very standard item set on the Earthshaker. Now, for whatever reason, you're actually not, kind of forced to play into a more of a laning Earthshaker, just kind of staying in lane instead of staying in the jungle. Let's say you're running a dual lane of a Potom Earthshaker or something like that. It's a better idea to get a clarity or two less and grab that extra salve for more regenerative purposes. Of course, that is not going to be the playing style of this Earthshaker, so that's why he has went for more of a clarity heavy Earthshaker. So no big deal, no big deal. Oops, let's go to Earthshaker cam here, and in this Earthshaker replay, the playing style is a little bit different. Of course, we don't see the Witch Doctor in lane, so the first big difference is that most of these guys are just gonna just chill here very, very patiently and just wait for a kill. And I mean, this I'm not too sure would I personally like it, because it kind of work and you get a kill, or it'll just fail badly. You don't get a kill, and the thing is, it really depends on whether your player is last hitting well and whatnot. But here we go. I mean, no big deal. This is just different playing styles of the Earthshaker, and this is what MYN chose to do. Now, one thing I don't really like about this strategy is that if you're doing something like this, you can't have any rune control from your Earthshaker. He is not going to be going to grab some runes, because if you do, you're just destroying purpose of grabbing that rune. And Mania is going to be doing something a little bit questionable, at least in my personal opinion. He's going to just let a Fisher fly in just a sec here, if I remember this replay correctly. I only watched this replay like once, or at least the first 6 minutes once, so I'm not too sure. But anyways, here, oh yeah, he is gonna let that Fisher fly. Yes, he did block, and yeah, there is a laser to follow up. But one thing in my opinion is that Earthshaker is more of an element of surprise hero, as we see more initiation going on the Necrolite, and that was a little bit kind of a untimed manner. And look at that Fisher, and that is Balls of Steel Fisher here. Actually, I'm not sure whether that was blocking attempt, but there was no other further path to walk in. I think he would just want to chuck on their stuns, but that was a little bit of miscommunication here. There was a ventral stun, the Earthshaker was about here at that point, and then he went around for another stun. Again, that's not really Earthshaker specific. Regardless, they are gonna get another kill out of this.